Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, also best-selling author, and every single day I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on the show, we have another very fascinating guest. On this show, we interview from celebrities, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, athletes, entertainers, speakers, to find out how they're able to become successful, their journey, their keys to success, and how they overcome challenges and adversity, and how their mindset works so to get them to where they are today. And definitely that is something that our next guest today is able to shine some light on, because she is absolutely amazing at what she does. I've had the privilege of seeing her on stage performing what she does best, her expertise. And I gotta say, when I saw her on stage doing what she did, it changed my mind about everything I thought about what she does. She's an expert in sound waves, in vibes. I jumped onto her YouTube. Now it's stuff that I listen to in the background to make me feel more stressless, more relaxed, puts me in a good mood. So definitely something I think everybody should look into and also get acquainted with, so that they have options to find out how they're able to relax and become more successful in their lives, because everything stems from how we feel and how our minds function and where our moods are at that moment. She's helped lots of individuals, groups, businesses, buildings, land, pets, really just focus in on sound waves, alignment, organization, and harmony, helping them become more successful and also being in a more present and successful light and mindset. So please welcome entrepreneur, spiritual warrior, holistic therapist, best-selling author, Miss KRISTEN Billingsley, KB.
Hello, thank you for having me here today. It's an honor to share energy and to learn from you as you learn from me.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. It's always a joy having people like yourself on the show, because you share some information and an industry that not many people are aligned with. Most people kind of just look at it, hear about it, and just kind of put it in the back of their minds, don't really deal with it too much. But you're somebody who's an expert in this area. But first of all, I have to ask, you were born, you got into school, came out, would you say that you go, hey, I want to work on sound waves? That's what I want to do. What was your journey like, and how did you fall into this, and why did that make it so fascinating for you to get into?
Okay, so my degree is actually in interior design and art, so I'm on the right brain, that side of things. And we had just make a long story short, we had a secretary. My husband, my late husband, had a business, a school bus parts business. And our secretary was leaving. And so he said, hey, you're going to come in and be the accounting. You're going to be that department. So I surprised myself that I'm very left-brained as well. And so I came into work there. I was a stay-at-home mom before that. And I came into work there. And then 2 years later, well, let's back up a little bit. So I started going to therapy with just for myself. Just it was a mentor that I went to, and she worked with singing bowls as well. And through her, working with her, and then 2 years later, my husband passed away abruptly. So it took me into a different level. Now here I am going to run this business and also heal. So I borrowed from my mentor a set of the singing bowls, and I played them every day. It helped me so much with my healing that my friends started gravitating towards me. So then I started working with my friends, and then it got to be where it was bigger and more. And then I got my certification, and then I'm working with groups and businesses, and it's just transformed into this miraculous business, because it's healing, and we're human, and we all have traumas and different aspects of our life that are ingrained in our energetic system. And so utilizing the sound waves comes in and helps to disperse that energy and to move that energy, so you can get into the right mental state. You can go to what trauma it was that was healing you, so it's brought from the subconscious mind into the conscious mind, so that you bring it to the surface to heal it and deal with it to move forward. Mm-hmm. And it's in layers, right? Healing comes in layers. So it's not that it's a one and done. It's a gradual process, and it's the individual that wants to do the work. So when folks turn me away or they're not interested or whatever, in my mind and what I've learned through this journey is that they're just not ready. And that's not a right or wrong thing. It's just they're not ready. So the ideal client for me is the one that is ready to work on themselves, ready to better their business, ready to take these steps, because sometimes it's not the most fun process and it can be a little messy. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of it, you soar. And so it's something I talk about, and I don't just talk about it, I implement it, I show it, I do samples like getting on stage, to take the question out of what this work is.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely amazing. Now, with the sound, singing bowls, the sound stuff, that goes hand in hand with interior design. You got the listening stuff, now you got the visual stuff that works very well together. Now, you also have that left-minded part of you where you're focused on numbers, accounting. How did that part of your brain go and accept this other world of holistic healing and sound waves and vibes?
It's very fascinating because, you know, it's always a right or a left, and I'm pretty balanced, and I can tap into both sides and when it is that I need to utilize it. And it helps me out because it keeps me grounded, because when I'm working at the spiritual side in my right brain, and it's taking me up in a higher level, right? So energetically I'm higher. So when I come in to do the left side of things, the accounting, the numbers, that it helps ground me into the physical plane. So it gives me a great balance of it. And I've learned, I really didn't fully understand that I could flip back and forth until working with JT and him saying, you know, your left brain or your right brain. And I'm like, well, this is kind of odd because I'm both. I can go back and forth, and I'm more right brain dominated, but being pushed through the hard knocks of business, running a business life, it's triggered my left brain to where I can find the balance that helps me on both aspects.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would imagine that when people come up to you and they're very, very heavily left brain mentality, it's somewhat difficult or challenging for them to accept, okay, I need to do this type of work on my mind so that I feel better. How do you approach it so that they go, okay, let me give it a try?
That is one of my biggest challenges that I am working through and getting coaching for, because it's the most important thing in how people shift in that. It's not what I say, it's them experiencing it. So I gift a lot of sessions, and that's because once you experience it and you feel the shift in your energy, and you see the changes in your life, in your business, that's when it's aha, this is something. This isn't just woo. This isn't just talk. It's really energy, because everything is energy. I mean, everything is energy, and energy is ever flowing. So it's important to have different skill sets. So talking to them, yes, it helps to open their mindset, but really experience it is where the key ingredient comes in.
So walk us through a typical scenario. Somebody comes up to you and go, wow, I don't feel very good. I don't feel very positive. I feel down, depressed all the time. What do you do? What do you ask? How do you guide them through the process so that they go, okay, this is working. This is how I'm going to grow and heal.
This is what I'm being coached on right now. So great question. So if someone were to come up to me and say that they're having this issue, okay, so I'll use a gentleman I'm working with right now, where he was having different issues with his knee, with knee pain, having surgery on his foot. So I've done, and he wasn't open to it. So I do another therapy as well, where it's where I connect with the spiritual side, the other side, the other realm. And so his late daughter connected with me, and when she connected with me, our conversation opened. So then he was like, okay, there's something to this. What now? Let's talk about the sound stuff. So then we brought in the sound aspect of it. So it really just depends on where the individual is and how I approach it, because not everyone is on the same level or ready to hear it. So that conversation ebbs and flows with whoever it is I'm speaking with. So there's not one round way to approach it.
Now, when it comes to the sound waves and the singing bowls, are there different bowls for different things? Are they custom made? Are they like, how do we know what matches what?
Okay, so I brought one. You can't, unfortunately, through Zoom, you're not able to hear it, but here Oh,
You
this is
may have
kind
to
of
take
fun.
off
Oh,
your.
there you go. You can see it. Okay. So they come in there's 7 bodily chakras. So I work with your chakra energy system. So I have a bowl for each chakra. So there's one for the root, for the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. So those are our bodily chakras. They're each tuned to 432 hertz to hit the energy of those chakras, but then they also carry a different music note. So it's C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So they're tuned to their different note and a frequency. So like the do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do, it follows that aspect of the music, because that song in itself will clear your chakras. If you need a lift, throw that song on and it'll help you out as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to the singing bowls and let's say just music,
Okay.
does music and singing bowls do somewhat the same thing? Can people
Yes.
just put on songs or their favorite lyrical song and whatnot? Or does the bowls have the specific way of actually pinpointing certain things in your mind that allows you to even relax more or focus more or just, clear your mind more?
Correct. So music does have similar aspects. So it depends on, of course, the tones of the music and the words of the music. But when you start working with the singing bowls, they take you into the theta state. So the theta state is when you're going to sleep and when you're waking up in the morning. So the singing bowls, as I'm working with them, the sound waves come in and hit your chakras and they take your body into that theta state. So when we're in that theta state, it relaxes our mind. So then our mind isn't running, saying this, that, or whatever. It's our energetic body that takes over and allows the releases, the awarenesses, I need to work on this, whatever arises through it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you talked about how you're able to help different individuals, pets, businesses, land, buildings. What are some of the most fascinating case studies that you've done, or most amazing results that you've achieved with singing bowls, sound waves, and healing?
Okay, so this is fun. So I was selling my house and I was having not issues with it, but I just knew that I needed to get it right. So I went in and did feng shui, right? Get everything right just on the feng shui interior side of things, cleared things out. But then I started doing the bowls, the sound waves in each room. And my real estate agent and we ended up selling my house full price cash. Within, I mean, we were signed contract. We put it on the market that morning, and by that evening, we were signed under contract, closed within 2 days.
Wow.
With it being cash. So, I mean, there's so many possibilities. And then on the spiritual side of things, one of the biggest jobs and the most fascinating jobs is a friend said her friend was having issues with her new little store she opened up. It was they served food, they had arts and crafts type aspects to it, and it was a building that had been built in like the 1400s. It looked like a Western building, the typical front, and there's where you can not pull your horse up, ride your horse up, tie it around, and she was having a lot of issues. So when I went to I started feeling it, and before I even left, I kept hearing, "Thank you, we're so glad that you're coming." And I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm coming too. I really don't know what this means quite yet, but okay. And so when I went to her space, I started walking through it and asking her some questions. And then I set up this portal, and there were spirits, and I explained it to her like this, like it was a homeless shelter for spirits. It hadn't been activated in so long. So it was a ground where they were all hanging out, per se, right? So I set up this portal, and spirits just went through this portal to leave. They were earthbound, they weren't here to harm us. They just never fully transitioned over into the other realm. And for 30 minutes, they just lined up and transition. So then we went to her house, and there was 3 homes and a garden and a greenhouse. So then we worked on her facility there as well. And it just opened up to where her business started booming. She wasn't having the interferences. So a lot of times it's not just a physical aspect that's interfering, it's a spiritual aspect that is interfering with you moving forward with yourself with your business, with lots of aspects of it, right? So it cleared it so that she was able to run her business successfully, and the customers started coming in more often, because even though like the human self doesn't understand or know, there's times you'll turn away from places not understanding why you're doing it, not knowing that, hey, that was a hub for a bunch of spirits, so it's very fascinating work. It can go from the 3D, the real physical side of things, and deep into the spiritual side of aspects of the work I do.
Mm-hmm. Now, is this generally a feeling that you get when you're applying these aspects to a case, or does the individual who hired you also get that feeling too? Do they feel what's happening, or are you interpreting it for them?
It's different. Sometimes, yes, they have an idea, but they're not as proficient with it as I am. And other times they have no clue, and there's like, something's going on. KB, come help me, because they understand that I work with different aspects.
Mm-hmm. And then the results come later on, and they see the results as to what's the thing that really changed everything. It was that one moment when you came in and did what you did. Now, when it comes to positivity, a lot of this is to put the person in a good positive mindset, put positive energy in the building, the land, everything that you work with. For you, how do you stay positive? It's a habit that people should have, that something that they do every single day. What do you do every single day to maintain that? Because I'm sure you do hit certain downturns or certain situations where it's not going to be always happy and go lucky and all that kind of stuff. So what do you do to maintain that status of positivity as much as possible on a daily basis?
Yes, that is true, because I'm human as well, right? And just because I have this skill set doesn't mean that I don't need to take care of myself. It's important for me to take care of myself. I make it a habit to every day play the sound waves, hit the singing bowls. Even if it's one, if it's just going by and dinging them, if it's sitting and do it for all of them, but I make that to be a daily practice. And then also, as going through, my husband passing away and all of that, I learned different modalities of and healed different things, to where if I'm feeling a certain way, I'm like, okay, I need this, or I need to use this modality, or I need to go for a run, or I need to eat something, or hey, I need to make that appointment with the people that help me, because there's people that I go to that help me with my energy and to help clear my energy. Because yes, I can work on other people, but working on yourself, you can do it and you can maintain it. But what I call it is tune-ups. So as I'm working with the client, I might be working hands-on every week for a month or 2 months, maybe 6 months, right? Depends on the healing and what needs to happen. And then I'm teaching them the modalities. I'm teaching them how to shift your mindset, how to change it, even because our words are so powerful. And when you're in your heart, right, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, into your third eye, and then it comes out through your Vishuddha, your throat chakra. So it's important to have these chakras aligned for you to fully speak your truth and be able to open up and talk about it. But it's important to go for help, like even for me to go for help. This past week was a situation. It's, beautiful, because I going through some things, and, as every human, and early, I think it was Tuesday, it was like, okay, I need something. And my friend happened to have an appointment. I went in. She said, how long has it been since you worked on yourself, KB? And I'm like, oh, loaded question. It's been a couple months. She goes, okay, it's time. And my chakras were good. So it wasn't that, but she hit me from another energetic aspect that helped to clear things to help me to move forward.
No,
it's important to reach out for help.
Now, is there anything that people could do who just not ready to make that jump to call somebody and seek for help, but they can work on themselves right now? Are there some exercises, some things that they can do on a daily basis that could at least help them get realigned, and then have more confidence in the techniques, and then they'll make that call?
Yeah, so meditation is important, and meditation isn't sitting just going or being in a still space. When you're washing your dishes, be in the present moment. pay attention to what you're doing when you're driving. Just being present is most important. But if you can meditate, a lot of people aren't there, and that's okay. Meditation is powerful because when you quiet your mind, even when you're in a movement, you're still allowing for the messages to be received. Another one I feel like is important is earthing, grounding yourself. So that's walking out on Mother Earth, like feeling the vibration, because her frequency helps to clear our frequencies. So as you're, and I was taught this, that it's approximate 21 minutes for your blood to cycle through your whole body, right? For it to do its whole number through your body. So when you're outside and your feet or your hands are touching the ground, she's actually coming in and helping our frequency to neutralize it, right? So it's whatever's driving us crazy, it comes in to help to neutralize it. So just being out walking, or if you're getting shocked a lot, you touch something and it's shocked, yeah, you got to ground yourself. You know, it's important to have that grounding aspect. And I feel like when you're grounded and you're present and you're being mindful, it opens you up to being more positive, because we all can go down the rabbit hole. We you know, that negative rabbit hole, but as soon as you go there, that's your energy, then you start attracting more of it. So I give my time the space. Like the other day, I gave my time the space. I cried, I got it out, and then it's like, all right, let's do it. Now it's time to get to work. And so then I got to work.
Are there certain things you try to avoid so that negative energy doesn't come in?
Yes. There are people, places, and things that I do avoid, and my guides will tell me, no, don't go there, or don't talk, or don't touch this person, because I have the different senses where I can see things on people, I can smell them, I can feel them. So if it's something that's my business that I'm to work with, then I work with it. And if it's not, I just steer clear. And it's not a personal thing, it's a protection thing. I'm very cognizant of my energy. I call it my energy budget. Just like you have your financial budget, you have your energy budget. And if you're constantly drained, then how are you going to be able to give to yourself? First off, right? They say, put your mask on first. that is so true, because you've got to take care of yourself, and then it overflows into your spouse, your family, your friends, your business. And it's noticeable. I have a part-time job that I go in and I keep his accounting. I do his books. And whenever I'm gone, they can tell my energy is different. And then they can feel when they're walking in the door that I'm there because of the energy that I bring to the environment. So being cognizant of your energy is super important, because a lot of people are not.
Very, very fascinating. Now, it's interesting to hear you speak, because you talked about the energy from a right mind and also a light mind, a left-minded
Light mind too.
right mind, left mind, right mind perspective. It's a skill set that not many people have, being able to switch from one to another, and that also helps you when working with different individuals who have different backgrounds and cultures. Is that something you put more emphasis on working with? Because you're on stages now, you're speaking to lots of people, you're working with big businesses, lots of individuals. Is the communication aspect something that you work on and focus on so that you're able to switch on and off?
Yes and no. It's also reading the room, right? Because that's one of my skill sets, is reading energy. So it's reading the room and knowing, because I can go as deep in the conversation as the individual would like to have, or I can keep it surface to where I'm not scaring people, or, because that's really what they're like, oh gosh, what's she talking about? So it's really reading the room and reading the individual that I'm speaking with, to understand where they're at and meet them at their level. So I'm not just bringing my energy and overtaking theirs. I'm meeting their energy so I can understand where they are, where it is that I can help them to take them to that next level, where they understand and where they're open to experiencing this.
Now, what I also really appreciate is the fact that you also surround yourself with other people, either mentors, coaches who's above you, and also you help other people who are learning from you. Now, for you, you're already an expert in this space. Why do you still have somebody else who's coaching you in exactly what you're doing?
Because there's always room to learn and grow. And if I'm not learning and growing, then I'm just servicing myself. And how can I be my best to help my clients if I'm not taking care of myself and my energy? Because I don't know everything. And there's people that I surround myself with that are 10 times more proficient at this work, but I learn from them. And then there's things I'm more proficient at than them, and we learn from each other. So I think it's important to always have an open mind and open heart, that when there's someone that is led to you to coach you, mentor you, that you're learning from them as well as teaching them. It's a symbolical thing.
Is there something within that holistic healing space that was in front of your face this whole time, but you didn't realize it until your coach or mentor goes, you know what? Did you think about this? And he goes, oh, it was so close.
Yeah, there's a lot of the aspects, because and JT being one of my big coaches that has taught me to switch it to where I'm not just coming in and talking about chakras and woo and energy, that I'm taking it and shifting it to a different terminology to help meet the other person where they're at. Because I would just come in and start talking. Well, not everyone's there, and not everyone understands what I'm saying when I'm dropping certain lingo. They don't fully understand what it is. And some will ask me, but I'm learning to switch it around and to speak differently.
Now, when big CEOs come to you and they go, okay, how does this translate to me making more money? How do you translate that to them?
Well, and this was one of the beautiful things with the school bus parts business that we had, that all the employees had been with us since his grandfather's business. So since the 70s, the majority have been with them almost longer than I've been alive, right? So it's providing the tools for your employees. So this is a tool that you apply that they're able to go in and do their work, so they're happier, right? Because you want your employees to be happy, because if they're not happy, then how are they going to be there to service what you're employing them for, right? So it's having them in that energy to where when they come in, they're in a good mood. Sometimes, yeah, we're human, things come with us to work, sometimes they don't, but learning how to drop things at the door and be in that present moment, that this is what I need to be focused on right now. The other stuff will take care of itself. It's still there, but I need to be present in this moment.
Now, when it comes to working with individuals who are already accepting this whole thing and go, okay, I'm ready to go, I really want to make this work. I know it's kind of on a general case cut by case basis, but what is on average something that people do? Do they do sessions every month, every week, or kind of on spur of moment when they need it?
If they're already doing the work, it's when they need it. They come in for a tune-up. But I offer group sessions as well. So there's different times I'm at different places around the county. I'll be at a park here, I'll be with a yoga instructor here, or they'll host me here. So there's different ways for them to come in to get those tune-ups, or they're like, hey, KB, like I had a friend just the other day, she's like, all right, I need a session. Okay. So then we made the time and the space that we came in for just a session. So it really just depends on where you are and what you need in that moment. And, like I was saying, some people, and even me in the very beginning, I was going every week to my mentor. I was going every week to visit her. And then it got to a point where, okay, I needed the space to allow everything to recalibrate, right? Because energy is energy. And if you put too much energy, you can explode, right? So on a human level, we wouldn't really fully combust, but energetically, it would cause some issues. You would go do things that you normally wouldn't do. So it's given the client that space, that once you work on them, you give them that week or the 2 weeks or the month, however long it takes them, because it's your own journey, right? To recalibrate themselves and to reintegrate. So you're getting these messages, you're learning about this, but then you have to integrate it into your life. You have to change the habits, you have to change the mindset, your food, working out, all the different things, you have to implement it. So it's allowing that time and space to be successful and to have the time to implement them.
Right. Now, before, we also mentioned that you work with pets as well. At what stage would people come up to you and go, okay, here's my pet, do what you need to do, we don't know what's wrong with them? Like, how do you know it's accepted by the pet itself? And is it all different ranges of pets? Do they go from cats, dogs to like goldfish?
Yeah. We had a guinea pig one time that my teacher, my daughter's teacher had given her. And she told us that she fed it certain things, gave us all these rules, but then we had the guinea pig, we forgot. And then all of a sudden he started telling me like, hey, I want some carrot greens. I'm like, okay, carrot greens. I remember her saying that. So I went and got him carrot greens and he was like super happy, right? Or other dogs, I call it pinging me. They'll ping me and I can tell that they are needing some type of attention, whether it's just a security thing or there's something internally going wrong, off with their system. So it's very interesting because the pet thing is fairly new. I've worked with humans. I mean, I say fairly new, a year or so, but that's still new in learning this, right? Because every pet communicates differently, as in every human communicates differently.
Is there a pet that you would say, nope, not going to try it? Or
no, not unless I gotta know, don't work with them. Horses are really cool to work with, like, because they have these gentle spirits that are just, it's fascinating to work with a horse. But all aspects, mainly it's dogs.
I had a horse coach who brings horses to therapy sessions to coach other individuals, and I found that very fascinating too. So, like you've worked with a horse before too.
Yeah.
So
yes,
do they both does the horse help you and you help them at the same time?
Yes. Yes. And even any pet, anything I work with is teaching me as much as I'm working and teaching them, right? It's enhancing my skill set.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cool. One quote I heard from you that really stuck out is consequences creates courage. That really stuck out because I rarely hear something like that before, and I would like you to elaborate on that. Is there something that got you thinking that way, and something that you went, you know what, this is something that people need to implement more?
Yes, it had a lot to do with my late husband's business, because at that point in the program, I was a stay-at-home mom. I worked in the accounting office for a year, and then all of a sudden I'm running this multi-million-dollar business, right? And there are so many consequences. There are so many things that I went through. There are so many no's. I got no's. I'm a female. I'm a widow. I'm a, all these different things, the aspects that I ended up getting the courage, right? Because they taught me, just because I'm a widow, that doesn't mean I can't handle things. Just because I'm a female doesn't mean I can't handle things. Just because I'm this or that doesn't mean it's whatever their perception was. So it taught me a lot, to have courage within myself, because when I see an individual and their projection, because a lot of people project their hurts and put it on other people, and I could start seeing that, hey, wait a minute, even though I went through these things, this isn't my stuff to carry. I still can walk into a meeting and handle it. I can still do these tasks on the daily basis. So it increased my courage within myself. And my solar plexus, working with my solar plexus, because that's our inner sunshine, right? That's our power center. And when your power center is getting whapped, just constantly, it can sink you. Or if you're doing the work, it can give you that courage and to stand in your own power, to stand in what you believe and speak it.
Mm-hmm. That's very, very powerful stuff. And that leads me to my next question and final formal question. And that's this. If I was to put you on the world stage, you get a few minutes to speak to everybody in the world. One message that you want everybody to remember KB for, what would that one message be?
Okay, the one message. It's important to honor yourself. Honor yourself and to work with your own energy, to understand what our energy is and how to perceive ourselves. Because once you have that confidence in yourself, it's unlimited. You can always find a yes, and you can always go out and do what it is that you're intended to be here to do. Your mission, I say, like my mission here on this planet Earth and what I'm here to do. We all have that. We all have this skill set within inside of us. So it's just doing the work to love and honor yourself to move forward.
Great words to live by. Thank you very much for that. So that brings us to the end of our formal session. I got 5 quick questions, rapid fire. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Got it.
Right. You're stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Apples.
Wow, so healthy. Hollywood calls and says, hey, KB, we love your story. It's absolutely fascinating. We want to do a biopic on you. you get to choose who plays you.
Ooh. Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore gets the part. She shows up at your front door and goes, "Woo! I'm casted to play you. Let's hang out and get to know each other." And you go, "You know what? I get the perfect night planned out for the two of us and the perfect meal." So what's the perfect date? And then also, what do you prepare for her for food?
Oh, okay. So I would probably have it like a cheese and crackers, fruit type, hors d'oeuvre type style. And we would have a session. I would do a sound session with her. And so for her to fully understand and grasp what work is and see how it affects you energetically. And then we would probably go out, walk the beach or something on an earthing, like some type of an earthing, just to have the open, candid conversation.
Wow, sounds so relaxing and so stressless. Awesome. You're on a road trip, and for one reason or another, there's only one song playing over and over and over again. You can't turn it off. What's that one song that you don't mind listening to?
Oh man, so what's coming to my brain right now is "You Are My Sunshine."
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very well put. Last question. Give me a number from 1 to 5.
1 to 5, 3.
1, 2, 3. So if you had to relate success to drones, how is success like drones?
How is success like drones? Because drones can move and go wherever they need to go and then focus in on the aspect that they need to focus in on. So to be successful, take an aerial view, take in whatever it is, and then hone in on it. I would also relate that to a hawk or an eagle.
Nicely done. Thank you very much. So that's how success is like a drone. This time has gone very, very fast. I've learned a lot about energy and sound waves. Like I said, I loved all the stuff on your YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff for me to listen to, and I'm sure a lot of people can listen to too as well. Is there any final words for you? And then also, what's the best way to reach out?
The best way to reach out, of course, is you said YouTube, social media. KB, Feed Your Soul is my tagline. So Feed Your Soul is on every aspect of every social media that I'm a part of. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for this time, and thank you for trusting me and allowing me to speak open about what I do, and open to help people's mind understand what this is, that it's important work, it's sacred work. And I'm grateful that you asked me to be a guest.
Awesome. Well, I really enjoyed our time here. For people, I'm like, in my standpoint, I think, hey, even if you don't understand it, even though if you don't believe it works, try it, because you never know how you're gonna feel, and if you're gonna feel better, why not spend a few minutes here to there, research on it, ask somebody about it, try it out, and you'll just be amazed at what more opportunities come up and how you feel later on. And if it doesn't, hey, you didn't lose anything.
That's right. You have nothing to lose. There's only something to gain through this work.
Yeah, maybe get a horse to coach you, and then get some sound to help you out. Who knows? It might change your life. So once again, thank you very much for your time. It's been a blast. Everybody else, she is KB. My name is Fong. Until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.
Thank you.